Relationships aren't always sunshine and rainbows. Just like in nature, you can't have rainbows without a little rain.
Journey with us
Shani Goodson.
and Dr. Sunjata as we share stories and insights about our thriving, unconventional love life and our unique take on relationships and consensual non-monogamy. Welcome back to another episode of Sunshine and Rainbows.
Welcome back.
We're so happy that you've decided to join us once again.
Hey, y'all. So fun being back on the couch for a little bit.
Yeah. This is
Right? Telling our business.
yeah, every once in a while we have a tendency to get into an episode that gives y'all a little bit into some of our little adult business.
And I have to tell y'all that behind the scenes, we discuss. We'd be like, so what are we going to actually say?
All right, we can't get
You
y'all too
We
much.
want to give y'all a little bit, but maybe not too much. So
You
that's a
know?
behind the scenes little thing.
But anytime you have sex in the title and the subject, they kind of get people perked up a
Get the
little
people
bit.
going.
Get the people going a
Get the
little
people
bit.
going.
I know y'all like, ooh, sex club. Like, ooh, what y'all be into? Listen. Fine,
This is why we don't
folks.
tell y'all everything.
Fine, well-adjusted adult folks like to go to sex clubs sometimes, y'all. So here we go. So, but yeah, so there's this sex club in Atlanta called Trapeze, and people come from all over the country to visit Trapeze.
Let us know if you've heard of it. If you have heard of it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And so I decided, so Shani and I actually recently visited Trapeze, and I decided, I remember when I was first exploring non-monogamy and doing a lot of this research online. One of the things I came across back then was like the idea of sex clubs, and I heard about Trapeze. I'm like, what? People go to a club to have sex? What's that all about?
In front of other
In
people.
front of other people? What's that all about? And I was like, I wonder what that's like. So eventually I
When was
found
this?
this was back in probably like 2016,
Okay, so we talking like a decade ago.
like a decade ago when I first discovered that this was even a thing.
Because he was super vanilla.
Super vanilla, in the past life. Um, so, eventually I got a chance to, visit and see what it was all about. But I remember before I visited, I was like looking online and some people wrote articles about it, and other people, there was a couple videos where people talked about their experience. So I thought, it would be cool for us to do that, in 2026 for anyone who may be watching this and has never been and wants to have an idea what it's like. And also just shares, more of our experiences experiencing that space as polyamorous people, because, it's more like I guess it's advertised as a swinger club.
It is. It is a swinger club for
Okay.
sure. I would say the people in there would consider themselves swingers. And we talked about this on a previous episode too. I'm gonna try to find the link for it. But we have talked in the past about what is the difference really between being a swinger, being polyamorous. Is there a difference between being non-monogamous and being polyamorous? And if you don't
Or swinger
remember,
and
no,
polyamorous. Okay.
non-monogamous.
Okay,
We did talk about,
non-monogamous. Okay.
but just, and we talked about polygamy and all that. We're not going to get into all those definitions today, but I'm just going to give you a quick refresher that non-monogamy is just the practice of, not necessarily being what's the word I'm looking for, faithful, not necessarily practicing sexual fidelity in your relationship. That's a huge umbrella term, and people do that in many different ways.
Yeah.
Even just the swinger category, people have their own rules. Each couple has their own rules. That's the other thing about swinging. It's very couples heavy, very couple centric. Of course, there are people who enter this space outside of couples, and single bi women are very prized in that space.
Hmm.
But polyamory is like a subset. It's like a little, it's like a smaller umbrella under the non-monogamous umbrella, and it's a little bit more based on love and less sex focused. The swinger spaces are definitely more sex focused, and polyamory spaces are definitely more like emotional connection, love focused.
Yeah. So that's why, in the title, being polyamorous, at a sex club, is relevant
It's
here,
an experience.
because of those unique differences. And I would say, and again, I'm gonna give you some detail. We're gonna give you some detail about, what to expect when you get there and how the flow goes. But I will say that, it's one of the things that, I've been in this space now since 2017. 2017 was the first time I went to trapeze. Um, so that's almost 10 years ago, and I've been about four times in 10 years. So I think because I'm lean more, I am polyamorous. I identify as a polyamorous person. It's not something that I've done a lot, but for that reason. I haven't felt pulled or drawn to go a lot, because of that reason.
Yeah, same.
Um,
I've been twice.
so, but with that said, let's get into what it's all about and how, what you can expect. So, you know, just kind of one of the first things that, I noticed there's a difference between choosing to go on a Saturday versus going any other day of the week. And the difference is that Saturdays is for couples only and single women.
Correct. So the main difference between Saturday night is there's no single men running around. Now, that's really it. Your single men are banned from being admitted without a female acquaintance, a female, escort. And I think that's important. Okay. It's important because it's a completely different experience when you're there with men who are just like running around wild.
Yeah. So, but when you get there, you have to be prepared to pay a membership fee
Hmm.
and then an entrance fee.
And the membership fee is good for a certain amount of time, like 2 months, 3 months. It really depends. It seems to change
Hmm.
when you go. So if you pay for that membership once, you only have to pay for it that once for that period, but you always have to pay the entrance fee.
Yeah. And the membership fee is important. That's like a legality thing. It has to be a membership club to even be able to be open. So
Like a
that's,
sex club.
yeah, as a sex club, it has to be truly a club with members, not something that's technically open to the public. And as another thing about a sex club, they can't serve alcohol. So you have to bring your own.
Right.
They get around the whole alcohol thing by everyone brings their own, and then you check it in when you check in, and you get your membership number, and then when you go sit at the bartender serves you
Your own drink.
and they provide the
They provide
mixers.
the mixers. So you don't pay for your drinks. Like you don't pay for your individual drinks.
Hmm.
You just tell them your membership number or you show them your wrist, which has a bracelet. And then you just tell them what you want mixed with the alcohol that you brought. And they just bring you a drink. And then you tip them, just like you would tip them, but you don't pay for the drink.
Yeah. And so as soon as you walk in, uh,
There's
well,
food.
first there's the bar
Mm-hmm.
and there's a dance floor and a DJ,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the DJ, typically when we get there, there's people dancing. I'll speak about the most recent experience. There's people dancing. There's
Eating.
people at the bar. There's people eating. There's like a
A
little buffet
buffet.
area with people serving. Um,
There's TVs with pornography on them all around. Like the
this is true. All
pornography is
around the
just
dance
on a
floor.
loop.
Yeah, on the dance floor, there's porn on the loops. They just trying to get you in the headspace when you walk in about what's about to go down.
Right.
If you want, just depend on the level of which you want to
I
experience it.
mean, it's gonna go down, but what are you doing?
Yeah, this
It's up
what
to you.
you're what you're the level of which you're willing you want to engage or experience it. So yeah, you walk in and a lot of people, people dress up nicely. They encourage you to dress to impress, like you were going out to the club that night.
Yeah.
And for the first few hours of the evening, most people were out there on the dance floor, sitting at the bar, chit-chatting at the bar, eating food,
There is
and hanging out.
some nudity when you first walk in. There are some people who are walking around in like lingerie or naked, but for the most part, when you first get there, people are in, like he said, club attire. But
Mhm.
there are still some people who are like, "Hey, I'm a nudist." Don't and it is allowed.
Yeah, yeah. So then from there is a back room. And,
It's a back space
yeah, I'm
with
sorry,
many
backspace with many
rooms
rooms. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
inside that space.
Yeah, another space. There's like a hallway to another space. That's the
Right.
best way to put it. And there's unisex locker rooms, because in order to go to the back space, you can't have on your club attire. At this point, you have to
Can you
dress.
not? I didn't know you couldn't.
I don't think you can.
Oh, you get a locker. So you also get assigned a locker. So when you walk in and you see like the dance floor and stuff, you probably have a bag. Like he had a backpack when we went, and I had like my stuff in it, his stuff in it, like the stuff he wanted to change into. So before we went and sat at the bar, we went to the back, and there's these guys who sit like they kind of monitor the whole
Attendants,
area.
locker attendants,
They're
locker room
attendants.
attendants.
So there's these locker room attendants, and they take you to your locker, and they unlock the door, the locker actually,
Hmm.
and you have to get them to do it every time you want to go in there.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's a unisex locker room, so people are in there. Everyone's in there changing if they want to, do outfit changing for the club area, or when it's time to go to the back, area, folks, dress down. Um,
And the dressing down is for some people it's naked and they just walk around with a towel. And
mhm.
then recently when we were there, I felt like a lot of the women and men were in kind of like lounge and lingerie
Yeah,
after. I feel like the last time we went, which was some years ago, most people had on towels, but this time there was less of that and more people seemed to be like in their little cutesy,
lingerie type vibe,
lingerie and
or a little,
mangerie,
yeah, a little mangerie, little robe or whatever, or just some
some
boxer
bottoms.
brief bottoms,
Mhm.
or something like a little sexy bottom. Savage Fenty got these sexy bottoms for men all of a sudden now. So
Silk pajama kind of energy.
so yeah, that's kind of what the vibe was. Kind of the locker room and change of clothes type experience and vibe. There's a shower in there as well. You might catch somebody in the shower.
I
Um,
don't think I ever seen anybody in there.
I
You
saw,
did?
yeah, I saw someone in there this the last time. Um, so yeah, so then once you do transition to the back. So typically, again, folks will kind of be in the front, mingling,
Dancing,
dancing,
people
eating,
watching.
people watching, sizing people up,
Yes.
seeing somebody they might, want to holler at or
Oh,
whatever,
sizing up. So true.
looking to see if anybody catches your eye, if you want to go spark a conversation with, someone or a couple or whatever. Um, and then eventually as the night moves on, most people transition to the back area. So once you get into the back area, again, you got to dress down. There's another bar.
Yeah, there's a couple, I think. I think there's
There's
is
one bar in the back
only
area.
one?
Hmm. So there's one back bar in the back area. There's a pool table in the back area.
Right, right.
There's private rooms in the back area, one of which has like a see-through window
Yep, has a window between the two rooms. So
between the
it's
two
like
rooms.
you can go in this room and the other person can go in that room and between them is a big wall window so that
Yes.
y'all can watch each other. And there's beds
Right. And these
in each room.
each
There's
room
like a
has a
little,
bed.
not a bed. It's not really like a bed. It's more like a chaise lounge, like a leather. You could wipe it off, like a leather chaise lounge type of thing.
Bed type of bed,
Kind
but
of bed.
it is rectangular, squarish, and
Mm-hmm.
but it is like leathery, so you can spray it with. They have disinfectant sprays and things. I believe they even have like bowls of condoms like around in that back space.
I think so.
Um, and the doors do lock.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
can
it's
lock
private rooms.
the private rooms do lock. Um,
And then there's a big communal space that has a bunch of those little like chaise lounge seats, beds, and they're all kind of arranged throughout the room. And then different people are on each one. And so you can be engaging and watching, or just watching. There's seats in there as well. You can stand and just kind of look around. It's very dimly lit,
mhm.
very ambiance lighting.
Yeah, and that's what it is. That's the experience. So, there's folks that are there to play and be seen and put on a show and
Mm,
perform sexual acts for all to see. And those people are, what folks would call exhibitionists.
mhm.
And then there's voyeurs. Voyeurs are the folks who are there to watch and just want to see. And it's like being inside of a live porno scene, basically. Um, and then there's both, people who are doing both and, right? And that's pretty much the trapeze experience and kind of the layout of the space. Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's it. It's open, I think, until 3 or 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it opens until 10.
Yeah.
So, and I don't believe it's open on like Monday or Tuesday. Like I think they're
Wednesday
only
through
open
Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, I'll just tell you a little bit about the difference when I said about men running wild in there. I feel like when we were there the first time, we were there on a Sunday, and the men were just kind of like really they wanted to see or they wanted to be invited and participate, and they came off just kind of thirsty,
Mm.
like the single male vibe was a little bit thirsty. And then when we went this last time, which was a Saturday, and all of everybody was kind of coupled up or with there was a triad also
Yeah.
in there. There was two women and a man also in there that I can remember, only one.
Hmm.
But it's just much less of that, right? There's much less of like men just like running around wanting to see things. And everybody kind of stays in their own lane. People talk to you though, you know. People try to strike
Yeah.
up conversation. People will tell you, "Oh my gosh, you look so nice."
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
people definitely mingle
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think that's one of the times when I become most aware that I'm actually polyamorous and not a swinger.
Mm. So let's get into that. Let's talk about like some of those nuances because you know, polyamorous and not a swinger, but also monogamy versus non-monogamy. Because I remember,
Yeah.
I said something I said to Shani was like, you know, it feels like there's a lot of like most of the people there are monogamous, is what
Yeah.
I said. I think most of the people here are monogamous. Like they're not necessarily going to be engaging with anyone else. They're just there to be more voyeur or exhibitionist, but they're monogamous. They only engage sexually, romantically with each other. And Shani gave me a different perspective on that. You said something like, well, if you're here, you're non-monogamous.
Yeah, you're at least monogamish, you know, if you are in a swinger space. That's what I think. I think people who are, you know, everything is on a spectrum. And if monogamy is over here and non-monogamy is all the way over here, people who are really, really monogamous are like, it's just the two of us forever. You're not even allowed to see anybody else naked. If you even lay eyes on another breast or on a penis or anything like that, that's cheating. Like that's an extreme side, I think, of monogamy. And so I think that anybody who's in a swinger space is a little bit removed from that. If you're willing to even look at other people's naked bodies, and you're, you know, willing to watch them engage in sexual acts, I think that immediately takes you into a little bit, at least some of the non-monogamous territory.
Okay. And I hadn't thought about it like that, but it makes sense, especially, like because again, everything's on a spectrum. So you're moving away from monogamy only and strict monogamy if you're at a sex club, swinger club, even if you're just watching or performing for other people, because again, yeah, you're absolutely right. There are people that be like, hell no, you are not, you can't be at someone's house or, just in any space where another woman is
You have to
naked.
get everything you need right here,
Right.
just between the two of us. And if you even look outside of the two of us, that's cheating.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah.
That makes sense because, it is non-monogamous in the sense to even want to watch other bodies having sex, especially live and in person. And, because some people are that way even about watching porn. Porn is cheating for a lot of people.
Yep.
So I could see why that would be on it. If it's ethical, if you're doing it together or the other person knows you're there, then I can see how that falls within the ethical non-monogamy lens. So yeah, that makes sense.
And I think one of the reasons that like I start feeling like, so I think that most of the people who are in swinger spaces are monogamish. They are people who are they want emotional fidelity. So they want to make sure that they are the only relationship that really counts, that really matters, but they don't mind having sex outside of that relationship. And a lot of them have their own very specific rules for their relationship. So, like, a lot of times swingers will be like, the woman is only going to engage with other women, but she's never going to engage with a man. Or they only do so called soft swap. Soft swap is when you kind of do these two acts parallel. So, this couple is over here doing their thing, and this couple is over here doing their thing, but they're watching each other. So that would be an example of that would be like the window room we were talking about.
Hmm.
That would be an example of a soft swap, I would, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in and then what do they call it? Hard swap?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Full,
guess
no,
full
full,
swap. Thank
full
you. Because
swap.
I was like, what's the opposite of soft? A full swap is when you, like, if Sunjata and I were the couple, and then we engage with another couple, and I engaged with that man, and Sunjata engaged with that woman, and we did not engage with each other necessarily, or we did, but we also engage with that person.
It should be a
That's a
hard.
full
It
swap,
should be hard swap,
right? Doesn't that
because one is the opposite of soft, but then also, hard,
make
hard swap. You need some hardness involved in that, and for that swap to go down, right?
but you can already see how couple centric it is with the idea of swap, right? Just the idea of swapping is pretty couple centric.
Yeah, and I just want to say I know I centered, P to V when I said hard swap, y'all. It's just a joke. There are women loving women who engage in,
Yes.
swinging and
I
things like that, and there's
thank you.
other ways to have sex outside of P to V. So
Cute. And we're talking
Just
about
joking.
this as if only heterosexual people can be swingers, and that's not true. Lots of people who are gay and lesbian and queer and bi and all of that do the same. So
But they do cater to heteronormative
I
relationships.
was
The
just
sex
gonna say,
clubs,
but trapeze feels very
it's very
hetero
heteronormative.
focused.
Yeah,
It's not like an LGBTQ. Like
no,
I wonder
no.
if they have like nights like
I
that
wonder if
though.
they do, but I think more so
I think they kind
LGBTQ plus
of can.
folks have their own
Yeah,
sex parties that are more, conducive and
they do.
safe for that.
My coworkers actually told me about a club. Okay, I'm gonna focus. But yes, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
there's more like they have their own space for that.
Yeah, but trapeze is definitely more heteronormative, hetero focused.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, I think, so being polyamorous, generally speaking, so just to say, a lot of polyamorous people will say, again, polyamory is rooted in the idea of emotional connection and love, that may you know, um, be a necessary thing before sex happens for people who are consider themselves strictly polyamorous. But there are people who consider themselves both polyamorous and swingers. So it's like when they're in a swinging context, they can swing. But they are a polyamorous person. So, yeah, they have loving, caring relationships that include sex. They may have loving, emotionally connected relationships that don't include sex. But then there's times where they put on their swinger hat and they want to go play and just have sex that isn't tied to any like emotional connections, or they want to do the voyeur exhibition, etc.
I will put myself in that category as well.
Hmm.
Like I feel like I can do both. I can be a swinger and I also am, polyamorous. But I think that what reminds me that I actually really am polyamorous is a lot of times if I see somebody, if something happens and it's fun, I'm like, let's
Let's
date.
keep this going.
Like,
Why I gotta be one off?
let me tell me a little bit so
Yeah.
it's your story, like I'm kind of more into that. Whereas I think a lot of swingers are like, no, we don't want that. Like a lot of swingers are like, we're just here for, sex. And if you go beyond sex, it's like a huge no-no
Yeah.
in a lot of swinging communities.
And those lines blur. Those lines blur indeed.
They do blur, but I find that when we have conversations with people in trapeze, their lack of desire for an emotional connection comes through.
Hmm.
Like the way that they talk about the whole interaction and the way they're talking to you, it's so obvious that they make it clear that they just want to have sex. And for me, that makes it less appealing. I can
Hmm.
still do it sometimes, especially if the moment's right and I'm really feeling the attraction, but it makes it less appealing to me when it's so hammered in that this is my man and I'm just sharing him with you kind of thing. Or we just want to, which is the more common, we just want to play with you. And that's the energy I get from couples a lot, where it's like, we just want to treat you like a plaything and then
Because that is what it
go
is.
about your merry
And it's
way.
understood when you're
Yes.
swinging. It's like, yeah, we want to treat each other like playthings.
The last time we were in there, we were talking to a couple, and the woman, I mean, she referred to my pussy as if it was me, like many times. Like
Mm-mm.
to me, like like her like pussy, your pussy, and it was like synonymous with me with the way she was talking.
I don't even remember that conversation.
It's funny because after the fact, he was like, "Yeah, if we were to have done something, they weren't interested. They weren't interested in me in this situation." That's what you had said about the last couple we talked to, and that's definitely the energy they were giving. Oh, you're a bisexual woman. That's what we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think to the energy they were giving is that they wanted the women to engage and the men to just kind of watch the show. I think they were like vetting us to see if we would be down for that type of configuration. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
let's go in a room, let's share a space, and the women play with each other because the woman
Mm-hmm.
was giving Shani a lot of energy. And it's like the women play with each other, the men just kind of watch or play with the woman they came with. That's the kind of the energy they definitely were giving.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah,
just
that's
want to be
that's a fun
clear.
scenario for a lot of
That's a
folks.
fun scenario in the right circumstances, but it's my inclination to want to at least be friends.
Mhm.
It's my it's my predilection to want to at least know something about you and hang out with you.
Mhm.
separately. I One of the things I learned about myself in these like scenarios is that I will never engage. Let me not say never, but I'm unlikely to engage with somebody who I just met in, trapeze. Like I can't see that scenario where me and that woman actually did interact because like, girl, let me know something about you first. I would like to know about your risk tolerance,
Yeah, let's see some
let me
results.
see let me see your my chart.
Yeah, some recent STI results.
Let me
Let's
hear
have
what
that
you think about,
conversation.
like, capitalism and. All right, I'm taking it far, but that's the kind of thing that kind of turns me on more so than just like a body, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty, and I will say a lot of people, I do want to say this too, because a lot of swinging communities, they do have a community vibe where those things are established and they meet up at these clubs to
Mhm,
engage. But they've already had those conversations and they know they're going to meet up with the same people. They're going to see the same people over and over, and they kind of have their crew of people that they swap with and do different things with
mhm.
after they've built that trust and that understanding.
And
So I
that
know,
could be fun.
because I know a lot of people are watching this like, oh, what about STIs and da 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 da, and people have those. I just want to say, just know that, a lot of people, I just want to say this for the non-monogamy community, for people who aren't a part of this community that don't know this, that I feel like in my experience, those type of conversations happen way more
Hell yeah.
than they have in monogamous spaces where people are meeting and having one night stands,
100%.
or sex with people and things like that they met at the club. I feel like there's more STI, STD conversations
100%.
happening, being exchanged, etc.
I always say non-monogamous people are, in my experience, by and large, more conscientious about sexual health than
Yeah,
monogamous people. Um, Agreed. I've been tested more in the last years that I have been in non-monogamous communities than I was pretty much my whole life,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
So
Whole life combined.
yeah, exactly.
I got tested in the first year more times than I did in my whole life combined. You know what I mean? So for me, that's been in my experience.
For sure.
So yeah, so yeah, how you think you're ready to transition to our segment? You have anything else to say about that?
I was gonna say one other thing about like this idea of being polyamorous in a swinging space. I think sometimes what I kind of struggle with is that the folks in the swinger space kind of talk in ways that I can't necessarily relate, and then it kind of makes the conversation awkward. Like something along the lines of, like uh, about maybe some possessive statement or something, and they'll be like,
Mm,
how it is, and I'm like,
yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
nah, that's not really how our relationship works.
Yeah.
And then we kind of have to sit there, and I don't necessarily always want to get into it, because it's not really the
Mhm.
time or the place. But I'm like, no, I can't really relate to that. And that sometimes can make swinging spaces a little bit awkward for people who primarily identify as, polyamorous. But I love the idea of what you were talking about, like a friend swinging group. Like that sounds super fun to me.
Mhm.
Like I really love the idea of we're friends and we have sex sometimes. Like that sounds like a fun vibe to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
Could be hard to find, but could be.
so hard to find. I mean,
Some people do though.
I'm just saying in the comments, any of y'all interested in this? What
You want to join our want to start a club?
I'm
Let's
saying.
start a club together.
You want to join our like friend group of people, a friend swinger
It
group?
started. I said a club, a community.
You want to join? Hit us up in the comments. I'm just saying, we cute.
Start the Facebook group. Let's start it. Let's start it.
I am totally ready to transition to our segment if you're ready.
Let's go. Let's go. So, y'all, we're literally in like literally in the final day of a kid-free month,
Oh my gosh, it's been so fun.
and it's been so fun. And so we have this segment we call the Lovey Doveys,
Yep.
and where we just kind of share some insights into our life, and
What
just
makes this work?
yeah, what makes it work, and the way that we like love on each other, and just all the gushy, lovey, smushy stuff, right? We give you all some insight into that every once in a while, and throughout the show. And so we thought we would talk about our kid-free month to give you all some insight on how we've been loving on each other, in that context, because it's been a few years since we've had this much time of a kid-free summer. So basically, Shani's children have been with family
Mhm.
out of state. And, my kids have been spending the majority of their summer with their mom or with other family members out of state as well.
Mhm.
Um,
The kids been
they,
summering
they, they've been
too.
summering, traveling, and just doing different things. And so we got like this nice little stretch
Yes.
of time, y'all. And let me tell you, we've had a time. So what's some of the things that we get into? You want to know? You want to know? You want to know? So
I
one
know
thing,
y'all ready for some freaky shit, but the stuff we actually get into is quite sweet.
I mean, we just told them about the freaky shit we got into this summer. We just told y'all about a little bit of that,
Some of it.
right? Without telling y'all too much. but we've done it in previous episodes. So, we told y'all way too much in previous sex episodes. But one of the things that we have in common is we both love dance hall, Caribbean, Afro Caribbean music. We both like winding and pundatings and how do you say it?
Wine punditing.
Wine punditing. She's officially like, born from two Caribbean parents. I am just
It's
honorary,
honorary.
honorary Caribbean, but it's in my soul. I love dancing to that music and moving the hips
I
and
was just telling him
you
like
know
not that long ago what an alignment that is. Like as a Caribbean person who, when I lived in Houston, one of the things I struggled with wasn't a lot of Caribbean presence. And the fact that he's just so like hip to and he's in like he admires Caribbean culture is such a alignment that when we go out to dance, the man got hips. Okay. He got hips and knees and rhythm. He be on it. Okay. He be like, yeah, and it's just really fun. We will,
I
let me
could
see,
dance all night,
once or
I can
twice. I
I
think
can
we've danced to
dance
the
all
wee
night.
hours.
Yeah, first of all, when the kids here, I'd be like on kids' school bedtime. Like, okay, they got that alarm ring at 6, but this in summer vibe, got me up late, going out and being out past midnight, dancing and winding upon the things and so that was that we've had some good times dancing at a couple different Caribbean dance hall reggae spots in the Atlanta area. So that's definitely been a highlight. What's one of your highlights?
We have done a little bit of waterfall chasing. We both like the outdoors and hiking and just like
Ooh.
being near bodies of water. And I really love the sound of water too. Like I love moving water. I love water that makes noises. So we saw a couple of waterfalls.
Yeah, and I got to tell y'all about one,
Amicalola.
Amicalola Falls, right? About a almost 2-hour drive north from Atlanta.
A lot of
Oh
stairs.
my goodness, y'all. First of all, the walk. I mean, like instantly, it's like incline, and I forget how long it took us, but at least an hour.
It was long and it was a lot of stairs. I think it was 475 stairs or something that we had to climb.
I think it was no, but before that, it was a few that were 100 something. So it was like 600 something total stairs.
Right, but before we even got to the stairs, we
It
were
was
in
just
the
straight
uphill
uphill,
hike.
but the trail was beautiful. With all that being said,
Little pauses, and so you could see the waterfall was really, really high. So it was like just these little places where you could pause and see the waterfall from different like
yeah,
perspectives
different
and from
viewpoints
different
and
heights.
different streams all along the way and trees and it was just it's beautiful, y'all. I was in awe. I was in awe when I saw the waterfall from a distance. But let me say this, I was in awe before I even saw the big waterfall. There was like just a little like small miniature
Yeah.
waterfalls and streams. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And it was just awe-inspiring. And then when we got to like the big wall waterfall, I was just like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a waterfall this tall in nature in like person. So and I've been living here for such a long time. This is my first time going to see it, so that was dope.
My kids are big complainers on hikes. Otherwise, I would bring them, but they're like, oh, it's so high. Oh, I'm so tired. I have taken them on hikes. I try to take them on easier ones than that one
Mm-hmm.
because they would complain.
Yeah,
What else have we done? We've had a lot of quality time. Like we've spent a lot of quality time together, and it has just reinforced just how
picnic.
well picnics, right? We had a brunch picnic. We've had some lunch picnics.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
I might. Well, anyway, um, we just have had so much QT, so much
Yeah.
time to reinforce.
Mm-hmm. Some
Like,
travel, some out of state travel,
oh, that's right.
road trip.
Yeah, we did a little bit of road tripping, but just time to like reinforce. Oh my gosh, we're so like on the same wavelength, like so much alignment, so much fun, so
Mhm.
much ease.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of spontaneity, which we don't get a chance to do when the
yeah.
kids are around. Like usually we have to plan everything at least a week in advance.
Hmm.
But this was something like, hey, you want to do this tomorrow? Or hey, what do you have going on Thursday? You're not working. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And just that freedom has been really fun, but also it's been fun, of course, individually, but I think it's just been really good for our relationship too. Because of course, quality time just cements
Yeah.
all the reasons why you're still why I just love you.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful, y'all, because like again, alignment, like she said, the alignments are just there. We enjoy a lot of the same things. And just spending time with each other and and also I'm just so
Camping out on the living room floor.
camping out on the living room
We made a living
floor,
room floor bed.
right?
It's just so fun to just roll
Let the vibe,
around.
snacks, falling asleep, having some drinks,
Yeah.
maybe a little adulting, doing some other thing, that might go down, and that's been so fun. Would never do that when the kids are around. You know how dirty that thing would get so fast? Them stepping on it, with their grimy feet and crumminess and nah, no kids, no kids.
Plus, they would want to get on. They would be like, "Ooh, what y'all doing?"
So, and then also, one of the funnest things for me is like Shani is just such an amazing like cook, and to be able to go on these trips and like take food with us and pack the cooler up, that gives a different vibe than going these places and always going to restaurants and things.
It is fun.
We've had the picnics we've had, and also when we've gone out of town to the different mountains, and we actually visited another mountain in Tennessee, this cave we visited and found a waterfall there in Tennessee, Chattanooga. Um, and packing the food and the drinks and everything, and just there's something that feels a little bit more like connective when we're eating food that we brought with us and we're finding like little camps, picnic spots, and being in nature in those ways too, so that alignment in those ways is just really dope, and I'm really grateful, for that. So yeah, it's the lovey-dovey's over here, just like so strong always, y'all. And I'm so grateful for that, man. So grateful for that. I'm not saying, we're perfect and, but we have our check-ins and things to kind of keep things aligned and balanced. And, this has been, a very highly resonant, relationship, and yeah, been dope.
a lot of this a lot of this too. We've been like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful, and
Mhm.
oh, I'm so glad to have you. Like, it's just nice to have an aligned companion with whom things feel easy. When
Yeah,
things ease is what I'm chasing. Like, that's what I'm always chasing. How what's for me is gonna feel easy, and
yeah,
it just always feels so easy and fun.
yeah.
So it's been nice. Kids are coming back tomorrow. School starts again next week, and we back on the grind. But just knowing that even that will be aligned feels good, and we'll have opportunities like this again, so
Indeed.
looking forward
And we'll still be lovey-doveying on each other even when the kids are back,
and escaping.
and we'll get away. Yeah, yeah. But a whole month, that was nice.
It was, and I only had to feed two people. Oh my gosh, I didn't have to think about who likes this and who doesn't like that, and oh, it's so nice,
Yeah, yeah.
so nice.
Yeah, y'all. Well, thank you. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Sunshine and Rainbows. We just popped back up on y'all feed. I appreciate y'all for, who maybe been missing us, wondering where we are. We're gonna continue to pop up from time to time, just as life ebbs and flows. It's kind of just having to meet life where it's at. But we're gonna continue to pop up from here and there. So stick with us.
Yes.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Go back and watch the old episodes because we left y'all with a bunch of episodes in the past. So if you're new to us, please go back and watch the previous episodes.
Yeah, content takes time, it takes effort, and we have a lot of things going on, but we still think about y'all and still want to keep this going. And like he said, we'll be back.
Yeah, so tell us what y'all think in the comments. Let us know, y'all want to see more of us, some topics y'all may want to hear about. Let us know.
And I mean, if you're trying to join the swinger community,
The swinger friends,
the swinger friends, the
the
swinger
no, the
community of friends.
polyamorous swinger friends, because you got to have some, like, you actually want to get to know us and be friends and all that,
The friend group.
some relational elements.
Yeah, we're half joking.
All right, y'all. Until next time, we love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Episode of Sunshine and Rainbows. We hope today's conversation sparked some new insights, deep reflections, or just gave you a fresh perspective on love and connection.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop us a comment, send us your questions,
or share your own experiences. We might even feature them in a future episode.
And don't forget to subscribe to Sunshine and Rainbows on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you're vibing with us, please like, comment, share, and leave a review. It helps others find the show and keeps these conversations going.
Want more sunshine and rainbows? Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sunshine Rainbows for daily insights, behind the scenes moments, and updates on future episodes. You can get more in depth and intellectual with us on our Substack, sustainablesolutionsmedia.com. If you like what we're saying over there, consider becoming a paid subscriber to support all our liberation and anti oppression efforts.
As always, thank you for rocking with us. We so appreciate the love and support. Until next time, we love y'all. Peace.